All right, so today we're going to be diving into some really fascinating territory,
Oh, yeah.
the world of cholesterol,
Okay.
specifically LDL and triglycerides.
Uh-huh.
These two things that often get kind of lumped together, but they actually have some pretty distinct roles in our health.
Yeah, they do.
And our guide for this exploration is a blog post from a self-described old software plumber.
Interesting.
He's been sharing notes on a book about managing what are often called the three highs:
The three highs.
high blood pressure,
Okay.
blood sugar, and blood lipids.
I see.
Have you heard that term before?
Oh, yeah. Blood lipids is just a fancy way of saying fats in your blood.
Okay,
It includes things like cholesterol and triglycerides.
gotcha. So this guy's really diving deep into how to keep those three things in check.
Right.
And he starts by highlighting something that initially left me scratching my head.
Okay.
He claims that while both LDL and triglycerides are linked to heart issues, high triglycerides might actually be easier to manage than high LDL.
So the author's notes on this book seem to emphasize that LDL cholesterol has a more direct impact on the development of cardiovascular disease.
Okay, so both are bad, but LDL might be the bigger villain, at least in terms of how directly it affects your heart.
Right.
But can you unpack why that might be? What makes LDL so much more difficult to manage?
Well, the author uses a really helpful analogy to illustrate the difference.
Okay.
Imagine your blood vessels are like pipes.
Okay.
LDL cholesterol is like a clog building up inside the pipe, directly restricting blood flow.
Uh-huh.
Triglycerides, on the other hand, are more like a weak spot in the pipe.
Okay.
It's not blocked yet, but it's vulnerable to damage and could eventually rupture.
Oh, so high LDL is like a traffic jam in your arteries,
Exactly.
while high triglycerides are more like a potential pothole waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, what's fascinating here is that the author suggests bringing triglycerides back to a healthy range might be more readily achieved through lifestyle changes, especially focusing on diet. Really? So even if they both pose risks, tweaking what you eat could be the key to keeping triglycerides in check.
It seems so.
That's pretty wild. What about LDL? Does the author say anything about how to manage that?
Yeah, so when it comes to LDL, the author seems to suggest that medication like statins might be necessary in some cases, along with lifestyle changes. Statins are a type of drug specifically designed to lower cholesterol levels.
So while diet might be the hero for tackling triglycerides,
Right.
you might need to bring in reinforcements like medication to fight those stubborn LDL clogs.
Yeah, it seems that's what the author has gleaned from the book.
Interesting.
And this highlights the author's point about LDL potentially being the more challenging opponent when it comes to managing cardiovascular risk.
Yeah, it's almost like there are different strategies at play here. You've got your dietary adjustments, your exercise routines, those everyday healthy habits working together to keep triglycerides in check. But then with LDL, sometimes you might need to add another layer of defense like medication to really get it under control.
Yeah, like a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on which one you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Moving on.
yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It really underscores the importance of understanding the specific nature of each of these lipid types and how they impact your cardiovascular health.
You know, it's funny. We often associate exercise with heart health, which is absolutely true. But this whole deep dive is really making me think about the power of diet as well.
Oh, for sure. Diet is a critical piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And what's particularly intriguing here is the author's emphasis on the type of dietary fat we consume.
Hold on. Different types of fat, like saturated versus unsaturated.
Exactly. The author mentions that the book he's reading specifically calls out palmitic acid, a type of saturated fat commonly found in things like palm oil and red meat,
Yeah.
as being particularly influential in raising triglyceride levels.
Wow. So it's not just about cutting back on fat in general, but actually being mindful of the specific types of fat we're eating.
It seems that's a key takeaway from the book. So that late-night burger might be doing more damage in the triglyceride department than we initially thought. But what about other factors? Does the author mention anything about genetics playing a role in all of this?
Oh, absolutely. Genetics are definitely a factor. The author acknowledges that while lifestyle choices significantly influence both LDL and triglyceride levels,
Yeah.
genetics can also predispose some individuals to having higher levels of one or both.
So it's like a nature versus nurture situation where both our genes and our lifestyle choices contribute to the overall picture.
Precisely. And this is where regular blood tests come in.
Ugh, yes, those dreaded blood tests. But I guess you can't really know where you stand without them, right?
Right. They're essential for a couple of reasons. Firstly, they provide a baseline understanding of your individual lipid profile. So even if you have a family history of high cholesterol, Your tests might reveal that you're actually within a healthy range. Conversely, even if you feel perfectly healthy and have no family history, your test could uncover an issue that needs attention.
Okay, so regular checkups are like taking inventory of your internal plumbing, making sure everything's flowing smoothly. But what if those tests come back and show that your levels are elevated? What then?
Well, this is where understanding the nuances of LDL and triglycerides becomes so important. It allows you to tailor your management strategy based on which marker is higher and to what extent.
Because as we've been discussing, the playbook for tackling high triglycerides might look quite different from the one for tackling high LDL.
Exactly. For example, if your triglycerides are high, your doctor might initially focus on dietary changes, emphasizing a reduction in palmitic acid intake and perhaps incorporating more omega-3 fatty acids, which are known to have a beneficial effect on triglycerides.
So back to the power of food. It's amazing how much influence our diet can have on these markers. But what about LDL? What happens if those numbers are creeping up?
If your LDL cholesterol is elevated, your doctor might suggest lifestyle modifications like exercise and dietary changes. But depending on your individual risk factors, they might also recommend medication like statins to help bring those levels down.
This whole conversation has really shifted my perspective. It's not just about knowing your numbers, but understanding what those numbers mean and how they relate to each other. It's like having a secret decoder ring for your blood work.
Love that analogy. And that's what makes this deep dive so valuable. It's not just about spouting facts, but about providing context and empowering you to have more informed conversations with your healthcare providers.
Yeah, it really is. And I have to admit, before this whole investigation, I kind of viewed LDL and triglycerides as this monolithic, bad cholesterol blob.
Right.
But now I see them as these distinct characters in the story of my heart health, each with their own quirks and vulnerabilities.
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you correctly, the main takeaway here is that we need to move beyond the simplistic idea of good versus bad cholesterol and really delve into the nuances of these different lipid types.
Absolutely. Both LDL and triglycerides are important indicators of cardiovascular risk, but they don't always move in lockstep. One might be elevated while the other is within a healthy range.
Okay.
And the strategies for addressing each may differ depending on individual circumstances and genetic predispositions.
This has been incredibly enlightening. But I have to ask, is there anything else from the author's notes that really jumped out at you? Any surprising or counterintuitive nuggets of wisdom?
One thing that really struck me was the author's mention of LDL particle size.
LDL particle size.
Yeah. Apparently not all LDL is created equal.
Wait, what? There are different sizes of LDL.
That's right. It turns out that LDL cholesterol particles can vary in size, and smaller, denser particles are thought to be more dangerous than larger, fluffier ones.
Interesting. So even within the category of bad cholesterol, there are degrees of badness.
Exactly.
Wow. And this just underscores the importance of getting a comprehensive lipid panel rather than just focusing on overall LDL levels.
Right.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. The deeper you go, the more complexity you uncover. And it makes you realize how much we still don't know about the intricacies of human biology.
It's truly fascinating.
It is. And I think that's what makes exploring these topics so rewarding.
For sure.
We're constantly learning and refining our understanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this deep dive has certainly given me a lot to chew on. Both literally and figuratively.
Good one.
I'm already thinking about ways I can adjust my diet to target both LDL and triglycerides more strategically. Maybe I'll swap out those red meat burgers for some salmon now and then.
That sounds like a great first step.
Yeah.
And remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about these markers and how they influence your health, the better equipped you'll be to make informed choices.
Absolutely. So for all of you listening out there, here's a final thought to ponder. We've learned about LDL and triglycerides, their unique roles in heart health, and the importance of a personalized approach to management. Now, I challenge you to take this knowledge and apply it to your own life. Talk to your doctor, get those blood tests, and start thinking about how you can fine-tune your lifestyle to optimize your cardiovascular well-being. Thanks for joining us on this exploration. Until next time, stay curious.